I'm back. Hello and welcome back to the series where I talk about my short films and the things that went well and the things that didn't. Because I've learned so much over the past year and I've made so many mistakes. So this time I will be watching The Docs, the most successful so far of my short films. It won a bunch of awards. I'm very pleased with it. So I shot this back in December, and I still, to this day, I think is the best thing I've ever made. I really, really like it. So the whole thing is meant to capture the aesthetic of film noirs from the 1940s, because it's a nice little niche genre that I really, really like. And I think I managed to do that really well. Like, I've got the high contrast black and white lighting, the rain, the use of the voiceover, even though it's not technically voiceover, it's like what he's saying in the present day that's being layered over a flashback. The flashback narrative structure, that's a big noir thing. And I managed to do all of that in a minute. The amount of visual information and auditory information and just the amount of information I managed to contain within 1 minute is great, and I love it, and this is me patting myself on the back. Quite a lot of things changed from the script. Originally, he's meant to like caress her leg, which is obviously far creepier, but that just didn't feel right on the day, so we ended up switching it to the little hand touch, which is just as creepy. But also let me play that moment out with a close-up, which was great, and I liked doing everything in close-ups. There was a big wide shot that we shot. Oh, we shot it just over there, by the way, just slightly out of frame. But there was a big wide shot that we shot that absolutely didn't work at all. So I cut it. The fading in from the shot of rain on the ground, that was not planned at all. I got the shot of rain on the ground because I was meant to get shots of a shot of blood dripping into a puddle. Yeah, do some dripping.
Just the blood dripping in?
Yeah. But it didn't work, so I ended up with just this black and white shot of rain, which I really, really liked. Similarly, I was originally planning on having everything in black and white, aside from things that were red. So the lipstick would have been in red, the blood would have been in red, like Sin City, because Sin City's a good recent neo-noir. But when that idea went out of the window, we got that first introduction with the fade in from the black and white, which is great because it's like her mind is off in that place and she gets brought back to it when Mikey comes into shot. I love it. It works really well. The two shots of them outside, of him looking and smoking the cigarette and her with the knife, with the puddles, with the light and everything, those are actually shot on two completely different streets. Just because I wanted to get like a certain look for the light on both of them, and the location was perfect for her shot, but then it ended up being far easier and more efficient to shoot his shot in a completely different place. So magic of editing, they're still looking at each other even though they're like actually half a mile away from one another. The music's from Filmstro, which it had to be because this project first started as an entry to the Film Riot 1-minute short film contest where you had to use Filmstro. The soundtrack was absolutely perfect. I then got a subscription to Filmstro and never used Filmstro ever again, because I know how to spend money. There are some little bits and pieces that I would improve about this. I think I could have colored the whole thing a little better. Like, I didn't really do much in the way of color correction, because the way I lit it just kind of came out like this. I just needed to make some tiny, tiny little tweaks and it was there. But I think looking back on it now, all the stuff that's not in black and white is a bit low contrast and kind of could like pop a little bit more. Similarly, all the stuff that is in black and white is also quite grainy, because I had to bump the ISO like way up to be able to actually capture images from streetlights. So that's just like a little technical thing that I could have improved. Mikey's close-up is also just a touch out of focus, which I I mean, these things happen. You wouldn't really notice unless I said anything. Like, if you go back, you can see that, like, his eyes are a little bit soft, which is a pain, but it is what it is, I guess. Another thing is that Faya has a tattoo on her finger, which is, like, it's nice. It looks nice in the shot, and it looks nice on her, but this is meant to kind of have a noir feel to it, and I kind of feel like the tattoo sort of detracts from that, because you probably, if you were high-class femme fatale, you probably wouldn't have a tattoo on your finger in the 1940s, but hey, it is what it is. The thing that I dislike about this the most, though, is the knife, because it is so obviously plastic. I did some good sound design to make it sound like it wasn't plastic, but if you look at it, the couple of shots that it's very briefly on screen, it is so obviously plastic. Similarly, she doesn't flick it out of the thing. Because it's spring-loaded, she just takes her finger off it and lets it flick out. That's just a plastic knife. That is definitely just a plastic knife. I probably have some more things to say about this, but alas, I cannot say them now because I'm just about to run out of battery. So stay tuned for the next one of these where I talk about The Sweetest Death, which has a lot of things that I like about it, but I think it's probably ultimately the biggest failure of the films that I've released this year. But I'll go into that in that video. So if you're excited for that, make sure to like and subscribe. Like because you're excited and you want to get that excited energy out. Subscribe so you actually see the video.